So this is the harness, the plug which I got for the Coyote engine, but it was actually the wrong plug. So I'm redoing the wires based on the list, and yeah. The one challenge, first of all, that there will be blocked. You can see that they are not all open, so we need to see which one is we need. Clean it to make sure that everything is good. And then I grouped all the wires. Here's the CAN and data cables, the white whatever, yellow whatever, gray whatever, brown whatever, blue whatever, green whatever, and violet whatever. So this is the most delicate and complicated part of this project. It has two, I would say, two different parts. One is the wiring and one is the computer networking. As of the computer networking or the campus communications, I was depending on someone to do this, but once they saw the project, they gave up, and it's more complicated than they thought, and okay, I was all alone with it. As of the wiring, everything was clear to me, and proceeding with this is like easy peasy. So I did this kind of sketches, and you can see here, this is the first sketch. This is the 2014, I would say the Gen 1 system, where we have here the BCM module and different harnesses is coming out from the system, where here we have the fuse box. So this is what I'm using, and this area I do not need to be operated fully as original, because from here now on, main things is the engine and these components, and the rest will be for the car via the campus. So I took all the details. You don't need to worry about this. I will explain it later on in much more details. And then here, where we have the fuse box of Gen 2, and then the BCM also with the two harnesses and this page tail. I will explain it because, as you can see, it also shows needed. So this is the area where the split is going on because of the Gen 1 and Gen 2 systems and how to combine. And I would say mainly everything, this is the two main plugs where you need to think about the work. And you can see the names is also similar. So as you can see, the plug code number is C175B, and also from Gen 1 you can see it's also the same name, C175B. What was interesting when I tracked every pin from Gen 2 to Gen 1, most of the color coding is similar. Of course, the numbers is completely different. Therefore, you see, and this PDF is completely shared with these numbers. Everything is explained in the Dropbox link I shared, but still I will explain this in more detail. But just the general idea is that you can see the color code, the function of the wire, and then the relation between this plug to the other plug. So for example, we see that this is, if we change the zoom, so for example, let's see, this is number 13, blue green. I changed the wire because of the harness I had to modify, so it says white orange, no big deal. But anyhow, generator regulator control is in position 53. So if we go to 53 here, we can see the same thing and in relation to the number. So this is the basic, but again I will come to this point later on. now I'm halfway through connecting all the cables from here to here. Now the challenge with this one is that the guy who sent me the fuse box was incorrect. It was for the EcoBoost, so I had to redo all the wiring based on the original document, which is perfectly done. Now most of the wires you can see which we did here. Let's say for example this white blue to white blue, brown orange to brown orange. Now I'm confirming the function from one block to another, but most of them, not all of them, most of them, they are identical with the coloring, with the color coding. So yeah, but always be sure. The best solution is that an aftermarket company make a male plug for this one, where you can plug it, or yeah, plug it in instead of the original. So from here, converter to this, and then it's gonna be plug and play. Will be very easy. Stay tuned.
Transmission is ready. Engine is here. Interior is mostly done.
The current update is that I'm getting very good communication. Everything is as planned. I can read from the ECU, but the ECU is taking over of all communications, which is mean it's not allowing the smart junction box, the body control, the cluster, ABS module. He's overtaking all communications, so I don't see in my OBD connections any of them. Once I disconnect the CAN bus of the ECU, then I can read all the devices back, but then I cannot do anything because there is no ECU to confirm or to relate. So we have this challenge now. I want to work on CAN bus communications to see what we can combine, or how can we combine both in one single communication. Yeah, let's see about that. So if you remember from the last episode, we know how to find different wiring diagrams and how to find different components on that diagram, and of course the color coding and all this wiring, everything. It needed basic knowledge about electronics, of course, but still with the general overview you'll be able to understand different things. Now, as of the plugs, which we talked about in relation between the fuse box and the ECM to the different modules, like engine and so on, there will be, for Gen 1, 3 main plugs. You can see the numbers are in relation. So the C175B, and then we have the E, we have the T. So these are 3 on the same module of the ECM. One which is coming from the fuse box, and one is the engine and one is the transmission. So this is a small reference for you. B from like fuse box, E engine, and T transmission. Of course, you will find later on different components on the relation with the transmission, like for example the O2 sensors. And then there is one additional vegetable, which is this plug. This plug is always next to the ACM. It's additional harness coming from the engine to the, I would say, the ECU and the fuse box together. So based on the wiring, where is it going and where is it coming? And then if we go to Gen 2, we have 2 main plugs, which is the one from the fuse box. Again, you see the same number. And then we have the one for engine and transmission. So both are together in one plug. And then we have again the same plug, but in different coding now for change this code number for some reasons. I don't know why. But you will need this also because you will be tracking some wires in between 2 different modules. So what I did to make things easy for everyone, you can see, as we talked, we have here the pin number for every wire. You can see the color coding of it, the gauge, which is the size of the wire, if you need this reference, if it's important for you, if in case of you are changing some wiring. And then here we have the function of that wire. Qualifier, I use this area to relate to the relation plug from Gen 1 to Gen 2. So this is the Gen 1, everything from Gen 1 going to Gen 2. And if you go same plug, again you will see everything from Gen 2, where is it going in Gen 1. These are the 2 main plugs. You will do all the work on both. I made some comments in relation to this and to these 2 in case of if it's needed. For example, you see here some pins I marked it in red. It means you will need these cables to reach the Gen 1 ECM if you are using it. In case, for example, if your car is 2011, 2014. So you don't want to take off the ECM and you want to keep it, use everything from the car modules, everything internally as it is. It is absolutely possible. All you need is to take these wires and match them to Gen 2. So you keep the engine, the ECM connected to this one, and then the wires will go together here and also to the plug which is here. So these are informations will be shared for both directions, and it will benefit both ECUs to work. So in this case, if you are going with these scenarios, you will need to have the CAN bus systems splitted between Gen 1 to Gen 2. Means the ECU from Gen 1 will talk to all modules using the CAN bus communications, and the ECU from Gen 2 will be completely independent. And with this way, you will have the CAN bus connected externally to an external OBD port. And then if you want to tune the engine, basically just plug your tuner device to that plug, or if you want to diagnose or to do anything, you will be plugging to that directly. This is the scenario where you will be plugging 2 systems together. And you can see I marked that these points also, if it's needed, because it depends how you are running the car. You could be swapping an older generations like mine, so starting the car will be a little bit different from the ECU. So that the ECU will not be starting the car. So based on what you will be doing, different things will be needed. Mainly the blue point. These points are the points where you will be using as a must to be able to run. And the red one, it's a function. If you want to run it in this way or that way, you will be able to make a decision. And then the green is actually mean this cable is different from this generation to other generation. So you can see this one is going to the E point, the C175E, not to keep it or to connect it to the GEN2 plug, which is the B. And this is the reason. If we go here, we can see that's also from the MAF temperature. Yeah, you can see. So, and I explain also again here that this is something coming via the plug. So Ford plugged it to the ECU in this point, but it doesn't go to the car on Gen 2 directly on the plug. It goes via this one. For some reasons for doing this, and this is a reference for you. For example, if you are using a Dakota digital speed correction device like I'm doing, so the signal which is coming out from the Dakota should be coming to the ECU at this point. Of course, the same thing, we have it here at certain points. If we can find it, I think it's, yeah. So you see, in this case, it's on the T, which is the reference of the transmission. So you don't use the cable from the transmission. The cable from the transmission is coming to the Dakota device, and then the speed correction device is exporting the signal to the ECUs. Again, green one is to identify that this plug is in different relation. Again, these points, you will need it if you will be using that old Gen 1 ECUs. And you can see, for example, this is for the engine, nothing need to be done here except merging the cables if you will be using it. So this is a complete reference how you will walk through these documents. So there will be different plugs on the Dropbox link I'm sharing, but this is only a reference if you want to do something or you are configuring something. Now, I will be talking later on about an idea how to eliminate completely the ECU from Gen 1, if you like to do this, and replacing this with complete alternative solution, which is I'm developing to cover it completely, and that is actually, I would say, a translator or an active CAN bus module. So as of the campus communications and the different modules, there was a challenge because I haven't had deep knowledge about these things. I know there is different modules. I know like to play with different configurations with for CAN or different things, but how actually to make these things work together, or what is the relation between them? Because for example, we know the ABS control, what does it do? The SRS control, what does it do? We know all these modules, but to see there is a relation between the ABS and the SRS to the ECU in different occasions and together with the cluster in different occasions, that was a bit new to me and that was confusing. So after this guy, he just run away from the project. I had to actually spend time and work on it, read about it, and understand how does it work to be able to configure everything correctly. Also, between Gen 1 and Gen 2, there is differences in the relation. For example, the smart junction box, which is called in Gen 2 body control module. The body control module from Gen 2, it's actually much more engaged on the systems, not like on the smart junction box, which is like only do secondary functions. Even it only communicate via the mid-cam bus network. So yeah, we will see later on what kind of challenges and what solutions I've been able to do for running the project right now, because the target for me was running all the components from Gen 1 completely functional together with the Gen 2 engine and the ECU from Gen 2. So everyone in the market, either they use control back or they modify the engine in the component of the Gen 1, which I didn't like both scenarios. Not in my car. I mean, the control back is an amazing device, and it's amazing module. It's very practical for different projects. But for my car, I wanted things to run as original as from the factory. So there was a solution. I made it, and it's working perfectly. And also, I'm developing further solutions to make things much more practical for everyone and for all of you guys who could be running this project in the future. Before the installation stage, everything was cleaned here. It looks so good now. So much being cleaned. This area was so messy. So many oils. And even down there. Oh baby, it looks very good. Looks very good. Thank you guys. Thank you. So for the reverse lockout of the TR6060, I'm gonna using this timer PC board. You can adjust the jumper here, so you have a time between minutes or seconds. So I'm using seconds, I don't need minutes. And then this potentiometer, you can adjust actually the time, which is really nice. So here's more few seconds. I think 10, yeah, 10 for me is pretty good. So what I do is I give the signal, I get the indication here, I put the reverse, it will remain in reverse for 10 seconds, and then it switch off. So this switch will be located actually somewhere here, so once I want to reverse, I can switch it. Yep, looks good. This will be isolated, will be sealed. The wires will be made with some harness and then will be installed. As you can see now, you can shift. This is the fifth, and you can shift to the reverse unless you click, and now you have a reverse. So some guys will ask, isn't that very complicated? Well, I get too used to it now. I'm driving the car since a few weeks, and all I do is just automatically when I reverse, I do this. So it's not like something crazy I need to plan and think about it. It's like now a function my brain do automatically. I love this shifter. So finally, the harness is completely done. At the original route, everything's fine. This is the wire which we have for the hood. We connected here. I know I should be having one here from the OEM, and I have the switch. Yeah, the switch. But for some reason, I can't find the plug for it. But it's no big deal. It's for the security, so we can manage that. And then the harness from this side as well, all done. Looks pretty. This is fully sealed. I'm very happy with it. And voila, yeah, this screws for the battery. Yep, this is even better because of the original new design. Oh, it looks good. One of the things need to be changed as well, which is this one. This plug is for the pump, for the water, for the wipers. So it will need to be rechanged to match the old pump, as well as I'm gonna keep this plug. So I reconnected my old plug to the harness. So the new, or the 2014 is actually located here, but I like it here. So no big deal. No big deal.
Process of PMI. Programmable model installation.
So all the computers are connected. We started with the identification of the 2017 VIN. Then we changed it to the 2011, which is the body control. Disconnect, reconnect, reading all the modules again, and we're proceeding with every VIN with the same process, hopefully. The second VIN I did, it's actually the restraint control module. And then we moved to this, then now this. The third VIN should be, I don't think we have any more VINs. So from 2017 to 2011, smart junction box or the body control module, and then to the restraint control module. Let's see if the ABS now is being readed. So reading vehicle, still reading vehicle. Okay, now let's make a new one. So the new one is 2010, 2015, the mix. So do we have any other VIN? So now that's the VIN we have. Okay, I don't see any others. Now what kind of modules? Now we don't read any modules. We're already reading only that, again, like the 2017. You're done with your project, and still this is the battery harness, and as I explained before, there is a part where the wideband sensors are connected. Come on guys, let's go to others. So you don't need all these cables, so the best is just take them off because it's already in the new engine side, as I mentioned. So here's a heat shrink with the glue. This is the best to seal all these wires, and for double caution, because I like that to be sure everything is absolutely sealed, I have been using this everywhere as well. Thank you 3M. No, this is not 3M. So thank you ASV guys. So this is very, 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 very good. It's super fast dry and very good for sealing, also for the temperature range. So taking out all these, and based on the transmission system you will be installing, you might need this harness. So for the TR3650 and the TR6060, the speed sensor and the reverse sensors are the same. So this is one and this is two for the speed sensor. Now the speed sensors here is 3 wires, 2 will be only used and the third one should be grounded, but we'll do this later on when I have very sure accurate length distance could be needed, or maybe long. So I'm gonna cut it and do it later on. But yeah, this is the part. And then of course this plug, which will be going to the computer, you will not be needing it, but the cables from here will be needed. Of course not all of them, based on what you will need. And again, some parts here will not be needed because wideband is not connected here, will be transferred to different location which is related to the BCM. So about this harness, this is all what you need to do. It's mostly about the wideband and then the transmission sensors. That's it. These two plugs are also related to these changes. So I'm a bit stuck with this computer programming issue crazy thing I hate. I like crazy things, but I hate it in the same time. So yeah, lots of stuff. I don't know if you can see all these things. Anyhow, messy, and I've been trying to program these computers like for maybe 10 days now. I don't know how to explain it, but anyhow, the whole thing is about compatibility between, which is the main challenge, between the GEN2 ECM and everything else. But what's driving me crazy is that even with the IDS official license, official everything, I still can't program everything without the GEN2 BCM, which is really crazy. For some reason, even if I connect only the body control module, okay, hey dude, only you, let's start something with you, it doesn't work. I don't know in the beginning it was the module I'm using with the ForceScan. ForceScan is not the perfect product. And then I bought a different communication device, which is like Chinese thing. Then the software and everything was not compatible, so I gave it back and I bought another one, and I can process everything, but it refused to program. So trying to figure out what is wrong now. Is it me? Is it the car? Or don't know what. So yeah, crazy stuff. Still, I'm not losing all my hair, not everything, but yeah.
Stay tuned for rest of the day's project information.